Hi, I'm back again. The cat is now outside, and we will continue our discussion about um, pest control businesses with cats for labor. Okay, now, how do cats behave? Well, they can be solitary and sitting alone for hours at a time, or vigorously playful. It can be difficult to discern whether a cat's sitting is productive or not. But even when the cat is appearing to be just sitting, the slightest movement can motivate the cat to spring into action to catch a passing mouse or a lizard. The same can be said for those whose job is to identify and solve problems. They may appear to be not doing much, or even lazy, as they survey the world around them, looking for their next target of opportunity. And when they leap into action, they might even appear to be merely playing with their prey, having more fun than work ought to be. But they will continue to play with their prey until its lack of interest no longer holds their interest, or its lack of movement no longer holds their interest. And then they will pick it up and bring it to you, or leave it in a place where you will find it, and expect you to reward them for eliminating the pest or solving the problem. When it comes to the perceptions of cats regarding their supervisors or bosses or owners, two quotes come to mind. One is by someone called Anonymous, whoever that is. It says, "There are many intelligent species in the universe. They are all owned by cats." And then Terry Pratchett said this one: "In ancient times, cats were worshipped as gods. They have not forgotten this." Similarly, cat-like workers do not necessarily consider themselves to be subservient or subordinate to management. In most private sector hospitals, for example, the physicians are not employees, but independent members of something called the medical staff, who bill for their services separately from the hospital. If you've ever received a hospital bill and then got another bill separately from the surgeon or the doctor, that's what this is about. The doctor doesn't work for the hospital. They work in the hospital. So the hospital and its employees exist to serve the needs of the admitting physicians as they direct care for their patients. This model kind of fits the way that many highly educated people feel about the organizations in which they work. The organization exists to support the needs of its most valued members, the cats. And the role of management, as they see it, is to serve them, not to oversee them. There are several roles for the manager of the pest control business, which we're going to talk about here. The first is to employ cats, or secure the services of cats. It's important to do this due to the cat's innate ability to eliminate pests. Now, dogs are great and can be trained to do lots of things, including, chase pets and so forth, or chase pests. But the training consumes time and resources at the expense of profits. So if you want to just get dogs to do everything for you, you can do that, but then you got to train them how to do it. And dogs will do what you train them to do, but cats, not the same way. The manager must seek gifted predators in this pest control business and secure their services and ensure that their needs are met. This includes cat food and a suitable place to search for prey. The manager must provide the cats with a target-rich environment. A barn with lots of mice or an urban area with lots of rats might be a good place for actual cats. Human organizations of this type are often found in metropolitan areas, but occasionally in smaller towns and rural areas. Organizations in rural areas with very few issues for cat-like colleagues to resolve may have difficulty recruiting and retaining them. Some of the most successful organizations start out in large metropolitan areas and then open divisions for the unique needs of smaller cities in the smaller cities. And they tailor the workforce in those smaller places to the specific needs at each location and try to avoid duplication of support for the cats. So the administrative and logistical stuff may be more concentrated in those organizations. The manager must show consistent appreciation for the cats. Cats will let you know when they want attention and when they no longer want attention. Some cats like to have their head, ears, back, or belly rubbed. Now, Do not try this with human colleagues unless you're a fan of harassment claims. Okay? Yeah, I know, bad dad joke. But special accommodations and recognition can go a long way in securing cooperation with goals. But be careful. Your dog-like colleagues may get their feelings hurt when the cat-like colleagues get special attention from which the dogs are excluded. So leaders need to recognize the valuable contributions of everyone on the staff. If you plan, for example, a black tie affair for your physicians, word will get around to the remaining hospital staff. My wife still talks about the way it made her feel when she was told to stop by a truck in the parking lot, in the hospital parking lot, on her way home from work to pick up a frozen turkey as a sign of the organization's gratitude for her services. But she was told to do this after having observed the physicians and their spouses walking into the hospital where in tuxedos and evening gowns for the annual physician appreciation dinner. She appreciated the turkey, of course, and it was delicious, but the comparison between the two methods of appreciation at the same time made her feel less valued than what she thought the organization took more care for the physicians than for the nurses. Now, treating cats poorly can result in lots of undesirable outcomes. Cats have many ways to show displeasure. If frustrated, they can just leave, and this is how our cat Melvin came to live with us. One day he just walked up to the front door and meowed. The crazy cat lady opened the door, and he walked inside and walked straight to the cat food dish, like he knew exactly where it was, which we had no clue about why he would have known that. And he helped himself. And then he availed himself of the litter box and made himself at home. He never left. He never even went outside. We have no idea where he came from, but it was clear that he would not go back out, that he would not go back to where he came from, nor even go outside. Now, it's possible to treat cats too well. Melvin knew that he had it pretty good at our house. He found the cat food that we put out for our other cat named Tilly, and he helped himself. And so the crazy cat lady, put out more, and more, and more, and more. She wanted to make sure that Tilly, who was a good predator, had enough to eat. But Melvin always got to it first, and he ate the most. Eventually he became obese, and the kids nicknamed him Fatty. Now, he became so fat and lazy that he was useless as a predator. He believed his entire purpose in life was to eat cat food and to be adored by the crazy cat lady. He was even unable to defend himself or flee from a canine colleague who bit off his tail in the entryway of the house. After the traumatic amputation, he just laid there on the floor, licking his stump and staring at his tail and wondering why it didn't respond to the directions sent from his brain. Hence, we have the problem of the fat cat. Now, fat cats can result from the bad cat behavior I refer to as guarding the food dish. Highly educated humans also can do this when incentivized to protect their pay and benefits and amenities rather than to solve problems and do their work. They compete on the basis of salary, benefits, and bonuses, especially where they are paid on the basis of rank, tenure, or longevity rather than on productivity. But there is another kind of fat cat. Some cats get fat on rabbits, squirrels, and other prey. So if you have what you think is a fat cat in your organization, you may need to determine why the cat is fat. Is the cat fat because you have made the cat comfortable doing nothing? Or is the cat fat because it is being rewarded for being a great predator? Great predators can make for a very successful pest control business. But poor predators can make adorable pets, but lousy employees. Besides guarding the food dish, there are other bad cat behaviors. Cats have been known to urinate and defecate in shoes, regurgitate hairballs on bed pillows, and scratch or bite hard enough to draw blood and leave scars when they believe that someone is disrespecting them. These deliberate responses to poor treatment can occur even with a cat that is normally well behaved. Similarly, highly intelligent colleagues can sometimes trigger discomfort or embarrassment for management, and might even jeopardize the success of the organization. This can happen this can result in the employee being thrown out of the organization. But when that happens, the cat usually lands on its feet. So how does one avoid undesirable behaviors from cat-like colleagues? First, listen to what they tell you, especially if they go out of their way to tell you. Most of the time, if managers do what they're supposed to, the cats will remain quiet, doing whatever it is they do. But if your decisions are going to hurt what they do or how they do it, they will let you know. Do not ignore them. Forcing them to work in a manner that they disagree with is a surefire route to insubordination and retaliation. And finally, don't ignore their opinions just because they don't align well with your priorities as a leader. If the cats seem to be out of touch with you, it is probably not the cats who are out of touch. Being out of touch with your cats may be the first step to management turnover in these kinds of organizations. So these lighthearted comparisons may provide useful insights into human behavior in organizations that are complex like this with the highly educated folks in them. We can all think of leaders who have excelled in these kinds of organizations as well as some who have not. So if you find yourself called upon to lead and manage in one of these very complex organizations, please take these ideas to heart. And you might want to consider getting a cat. Now, in the journal article, there is also a little caveat at the end, which I will read to you because I thought it was pretty funny when I wrote it. Dr. Mark Perry is a member of the graduate faculty of the U.S. Army Baylor University Graduate Program in Health and Business Administration. He is a graduate of the Rand Graduate School of Policy Studies and has served in various and sundry leadership roles in pest control businesses employing cats for labor, including hospitals, think tanks, and academia. He is married to the crazy cat lady Christine and has observed and documented the behaviors of her feline friends Josie, Tilly, Ozzy, Spunky, Melvin, aka Fatty, and Bertimus Prime, as well as their canine colleagues Goldie, Heidi, and BB. No domesticated animals were harmed in the production of this research, except for that time when Heidi bit Melvin's tail off. But the same cannot be said for an undetermined number of rabbits, rats, raccoons, mice, moles, voles, skunks, snakes, squirrels, lizards, feral cats, possums, and insects, which were dispatched by our unsupervised crew of domesticated predators. No disrespect is intended toward managers, leaders, and employees at all levels, as well as cats, dogs, or any other species by the comparisons made in this article. The views expressed in this article are those of the author and do not reflect official policy or position of the Department of the Army, the Department of Defense, the United States government, the Rand Corporation, Baylor University, the Crazy Cat Lady, or the cats named herein. I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. Again, this is found in the Journal of Irreproducible Results. And this was volume number 53, number 2, published in March of 2021. The editor of the journal is Norm, what was his name again? Norm Sperling, and he's on the faculty at Berkeley, if I'm not mistaken. So Hope you had a good time hearing this, and if you want to read it, you can look up the journal and find it there. You have a great day, and thanks again.